Greetings, friends. It's Denise again with Denise's Dancing Paintbrush. And after a very long illness, I was sick with the flu, I finally am getting back to some artwork. So, with a lot of technical details and problems I have had this week, I've finally gotten something going. This is some watercolor paper that I have pulled out of the closet. They are old projects that I did for classroom projects for teaching purposes, and I'm making them into bags. Recently, I gave a gift to a friend using one of my homemade bags, and of course, she loved it very, very much. But I just about finished off all the bags that I created, so it's time to make more. This paper, of course, being watercolor paper, is a bit heavier than your average paper, and it takes a while for the glue to really adhere well to the paper. Sometimes I have to wait several minutes, letting the glue just stand, and I have to use paper clips to make sure that it's sticking where I want it to stick. I'm just using regular white school glue, Elmer's Works. Excuse me. On this particular piece, it was a very tall painting project, and I tore it in half in order to make this bag. So what I get, most of the details, of course, will be on the front of the bag, but on the back of the bag is the rest of the stream. As you can see. But I don't think that's going to be a real problem. I think that still works very well. It's a bag, after all. It's not going to be hanging on a wall, and it's very colorful. Being that it's a classroom project, it's also very simplistic. But this is a very nice way of using up watercolor paintings that you felt just weren't worthy of hanging on a wall, framing, and whatever, but they're still very nicely decorated paper. On this one, you can see are two irises on wrinkled paper. Now, the wrinkled paper effect is a technique I love to play with because it gives the background a very rustic, stained glass look, and it's quite beautiful. The paint soaks into all of the crevices and cracks where you have bruised the fibers of the paper. So as you can see, I fold down the top edge of the paper about 1 inch. That gives the top of the bag more strength and structure because you're going to poke holes and put in some yarn or cotton cording or ribbon or whatever you're going to use for the handles of the bag. And so the top of the bag needs to have a little more structure than the rest of it. This wrinkled paper effect also makes my paper just the tiniest bit flimsy. It's easy to tear, so I have to be a little bit careful about how I go about it. And I put on some paper clips where I have just put on the glue so that it will stick. So it will absorb into the paper and adhere. And sometimes I have to steal a paper clip off of another bag that I was working on. So I'll set that to one side and let it really bond. It takes a couple of minutes, and then while I'm waiting, I can work on another piece. You can see I have an entire stack of these irises. They were very popular, and I painted them several times for classroom projects. The next one, you can see there it is. I'm getting ready to tear it in half. So I give it a fold. I could cut it, but just a tearing just is convenient, plus it adds to the rustic look of the whole thing. And now I have two irises, one for the front, one for the back. I've got to fold it down the top edge about an inch carefully so it doesn't tear. And then fold up the sides where the seams are going to be, where these two pieces are then glued together. Now I'd put glue on that one right away, but I am out of paper clips. So it's time to go back to the first one here and see if it has bonded well enough to start folding. As it is now, it's just a two-sided iris, but I need to fold it one more time to give it a rectangle. So I open it up and decide where the second fold will be. Right about there looks good to me. Fold it on one side and then it should lay down on the other. I don't even need to measure it. And then when I open it up, now I have a rectangle. And that didn't stick well enough. Needs more glue. And another paper clip. So that's going to take a few more minutes. In the meantime, I can work on the last one. Here we are with the mountain stream. It's already got its rectangular look. And now I've got to fold up the bottom edge to give it a crease, about 2.5 inches, 2 to 2.5, depending on how wide I have made the back. I fold it one direction and then another to make sure the crease is really in there good. And then when I open it up, you see now I've got this lovely crease. And I get some scissors and cut at each corner just up to that crease. So now you can see this is going to be the bottom of the bag, and the flaps, I just put glue fold down the long flap, see how far it overlaps. And turn it right side up. And I also put in a weight, something that'll hold it down. In this case, I just used baby powder. And that, again, you have to wait. So here are a few bags that I created. On this one, I had to add an extra strip of paper at the top because I didn't want to lose that cherry. I didn't want to fold down an inch and lose that lovely little cherry at the top of my parfait. This one's really tall. It would make a nice bag for a wine bottle gift or something like that, maybe two. This one's much bigger, one of those that I tore in half. The problem was all the tulips were at the top and just the leaves were at the bottom. So one side only has leaves, but I think that works. You can see the bottom, I didn't want to lose too much, so I added an extra piece of paper at the bottom of the bag instead of folding it up. And here is our mountain stream all finished. I added a few ties for the hand holders and just folded it. And now it's waiting for a gift. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate all my friends. Do come again. I should be back to normal very soon. Bye everyone, don't catch that flu.